I'm Heather Meeker, Executive Director of Summit Artspace, and we are delighted to welcome you to the virtual announcement of the 2021 Arts Alive Award recipients. Summit Artspace is a nonprofit arts organization connecting artists and artist-serving organizations to the resources they need to thrive professionally, creatively, and financially. Located in Akron's historic arts district at 140 East Market Street, it provides artist studios, exhibitions, and artist-supporting programs in Summit County and serves as a vital place for the public to engage with the creative community. For more information, we hope you'll visit summitartspace.org and visit us during our public hours on Fridays from 12 to 7 p.m. and Saturdays from 11 to 5. Since 2001, the Arts Alive Awards have honored and celebrated incredible local artists from all disciplines, as well as arts leaders and advocates from across the community. These outstanding visionaries, creators, educators, volunteers, and donors are all vital contributors to the arts and culture landscape in Akron and beyond. They bring art to life and inspire us with their achievements. Artists challenge us to examine what it means to be human, to give voice and expression to the breadth of our experience, and to bring people and ideas together. In this tumultuous world and these uncertain times, we need artists more than ever before. During the pandemic, artists have seen their incomes evaporate and the events at which they share and sell their art disappear. Yet they have persevered in making art, in documenting the world around us with all its highs and lows, and in helping us work through what happens next. Summit Artspace would like to thank our Arts Alive sponsors who have done so much to make this virtual event possible. Bober Markey Fedorovich, Brio Performance Solutions, Pickard Commercial Group, Witchy and Firestein, Clyden and Associates, and John Fitzpatrick and Ari Rosser. We thank all of you viewing this presentation for your philanthropic contributions for our nonprofit mission. Another way you can support Summit Artspace tonight is through our virtual Arts Alive auction, now on its final day of bidding, and it ends at midnight tonight, June 17th. The auction features nearly 50 works of art donated by local artists, and proceeds directly support the artists that Summit Artspace serves. You'll find the auction site at biddingforgood.com/Summit Artspace. Finally, we'd also like to thank Summit Artspace resident artist Jennifer Warden, who designed and created the awards presented to our recipients. Jennifer uses recycled glass in the creation of her art, conferring a new, unexpected life to the material. For these awards, the architectural glass samples were placed on top of fire-resistant fiber sheets arranged in a geometric pattern, slowly kiln-fired to a temperature of 1,700 degrees. As the glass heats, it melts over the pattern, resulting in an embossed effect on the glass, and a unique reminder of the light that each of these artists brings into our lives through their work.
Hey guys, I'm Ace Epps, the founder of the Self-Advancement Center, which is a residence art-based entrepreneurship organization at the beautiful Summit Artspace. In 2019, I was the honorary co-chair for the Arts Alive Awards. That night, we gathered for a terrific evening to announce and celebrate the artists. It was a party in the truest sense of the word. How could anyone guess, however, what would happen the next following year? Our lives were dramatically changed. The arts experience we took for granted, exhibitions, performances, workshops, and art walks suddenly weren't there to challenge our minds and lighten our hearts. Keeping the arts alive became top priority for all of us. But you know, artists are resilient, right? Artists find a way. As we discover new connections and use technologies in new ways to share our work, we're also looking forward to making and sharing art in person once again. As you listen to this year's honorees, I encourage you to please reconnect with the arts. Art organizations and artists helping us to see in new ways to understand and to bring us joy. Through your contribution and participation, you can help artists as they create a new path forward. Thank you for all you're doing to support local artists. This is a time of great change and great possibilities, and we're glad you're along for the journey. I'm Ace Epps. I'm out.
As we announce this year's categories, we are grateful for all of the nominees and nominators who shared stories of resilience, creativity, collaboration, and heart.
I think every year, watching a young person come who wasn't quite sure, who wasn't necessarily the artistic type, and maybe mom said you're going, and to watch them turn right around Wednesday and their hearts get caught and they begin to sing and they begin to dance and they begin to speak or they begin to play that instrument, and they are amazed at what was in them that they had no idea was there. It happens every year. So that's the highlight for me. Now, yes, we've had the wonderful opportunity of taking this to South Africa. We've had the great opportunity of singing with the symphony orchestra. We've had those marvelous moments, but the greatest thing is watching those eyes of those young people who came in a little dim sparkle and watch their lives change. It's worth every minute, every effort of what it takes to do what we do.
In about 2007, we were at a point where the model was not really working particularly well at the Civic. And so we took a step back and really changed it very much to focus on community-based programming in addition to the nationally touring. And what has emerged in, whatever, that's 14 years. In the last couple of years, what's emerged is really the realization that we are not an arts or entertainment or cultural institution. We're an economic development or community development institution that happens to use arts, entertainment, and culture as the vehicle to achieve those other objectives. So when you start looking at it as a lens, through a lens that says our purpose is to develop community, or our purpose is to create economic activity, then the programming fills into that. Once we started seeing things through that lens, it just exploded and has really worked out very well for us.
You've just completed.
Well, first, I think I'd start by saying that I don't know if many people know this, but my father is quite the character. He's Don Drum. He's a sculptor in the area. He and my mother, Lisa, own a gallery in Akron. And my dad has a real sense of humor and playfulness. And I find that growing up with that, I have that as well. And so a lot of my work is very whimsical or has that sense of play. And my mom, when we were growing up, she is a fiber artist or was trained as a fiber artist. Her father actually is a well-known painter in Erie, Pennsylvania, and not many people know that. So we have kind of art coming from both directions. But my mother used to create objects for us to play with that had a sense of discovery. So in her fiber art, she would create dolls that would unzip and something would be inside for you to explore. So I have a fiber sculpture called the Tooth Fairy, and in the top of her hat are a string of coins that you open up, and in her chest would be the teeth that she had gathered. So I think the way that I translate some of that playfulness or the sense of discovery in my work was that when I create illustrations or designs for some of the three-dimensional work I do, I have an image and there are pieces of that story within the image that tell the story. So the idea is that when you look at something and you focus in, you see the original piece of art, but then you can focus in to gain more of the story. I feel that art allows people to connect. It allows people to explore, to think outside of the box. You know, I still am very much about community and artists working together. I see it happening around Akron. I think Akron's going to be a wonderful place. We've always been a center for arts, and I just see it growing from here.
The most beautiful theatrical scene for me is a mother or a father telling a story to a son or a daughter. Okay? And maybe no one is going to see that. It's like the best theater piece, and no one see it because it's only between the child and the parent. And there this space of trust that is created between them. And the kids grow up from this space of trust. So I think that in our company, what we are trying to look for, what we always look, is to create this space of trust. And it's from this space of trust, it's like art, music, creation will happen. You don't need to deal or be nervous what I go to do. No. If you put your attention into creating this space of trust, everything comes from there.
You know, everybody dances. It is so universal. It's in our DNA and we don't even know it. And dance is a wonderful way of bringing people together. It's, I think, the perfect art form to take into communities. And the bigger and the better, the more amazing. That's great. But you don't have to speak. But yet you can. I mean, you can use all your senses within dance to translate a message to people, or people can just watch and enjoy it. And maybe they don't understand the message. It doesn't matter. You know, if they like it or they don't like it, that's okay. So I think it's an art form that really absolutely does translate to everybody, even if you don't think it does or you don't realize it. And I find so many people that come to the dance festival that realize that later on, or they walk away and they go, you know, I wasn't sure I was going to like this, but I liked that middle piece, or I liked all of it, or something. There's something there that's intimate and instinctive in each one of us with dance, I think.
It's cliche, but it's like growing up, it was like you either play ball or you rap, and that was the thing. My parents were dope enough to put me in a lot of different things, so I saw different options. Like I wanted to be an open heart surgeon when I was a kid because I learned about Charles Drew, like in a Black History class or something like that. So I was just exposed to a lot of different things, the good and the bad, and I was able to make decisions for myself. So like on the discipline side, I've always been faced with like, nobody's gonna do it for you, you gotta go do it. So I just get up every day and do the work and see what happens. As far as my music is concerned, it's important to me because it's my expression. I went to school for journalism. My parents always encouraged me to write, express myself within reason, you know what I mean? So that turned from writing stories and having a comic book when I was a kid to playing instruments, and I was terrible at all of them. I hated them. To trying to go to school for journalism, but then the writing turned into music because I like hip hop music, and that's the culture I come from. So it's a kind of a culmination of all those things of where I come from. And then as it continued to evolve and I learned about the world and learned about different perspectives, I was like, oh, I want to talk about that. Or I met these people and they told me like what they do in their neighborhood or what they do in this country. Let me try to incorporate that sound in this music. Let me try to incorporate this conversation in this music. So I feel like there's no room I can't go into where I can't be a part of the conversation, or at times lead the conversation. And then in turn with that, I get to meet dope people. I get to work with dope people. I get to learn from people way smarter than I am. So it's my music is kind of all of that. It's it starts with me, but it's not about me. You know what I mean? And I try to keep that at the forefront.
The goal of our company is to help everybody become a star. I would like to quote a Kinks lyric: "Everybody's a dreamer, and everybody's a star, and everybody's in showbiz, doesn't matter who you are." We get up every morning, we go about our business, we know our lines, we know our role. Sometimes we need to rehearse to get through the day in a better way. CADA, our mission is to empower people with disabilities and with autism to improve their daily life, to improve how they work, how they walk through the day. And for those who are super interested, we share the tools of theater so that they may become creative forces and use that drive that they have within them to be performers. CADA has developed programming that is based on applied drama and is based upon our vision of empowering young people. And as we began the work, we started attracting young adults, older adults, now not just people with autism, but people of all abilities, people with disabilities, people who are able-bodied but who want to work with people who are unique, who are have their own special gifts. And that is our hope for CADA, that we bring people together to develop theater that speaks to everyone, regardless of ability.
I value art. I think it's one of the most solidifying and soul-satisfying aspects to a wall. And it doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It speaks to humanness because the person who did that is expressing something about what they saw. So there is no difference in when I talk to a professional artist who gets paid, this is what they do for a living, or someone who is at the Oriana House program. When you say, tell me about this piece, they immediately go to the emotional moment that caused them to produce that piece. Now, there are many levels of technicality between an amateur first-time artist and a person who's a professional artist, but the art's the same. And I think as humans, they've been painting on cave walls since they could figure out how to do it. It's just a part of being a human. And for me, I go look at it because if I'm having a bad day, just like anybody else in that courthouse, I can go and have that moment. It's like, this is just beautiful. This is a moment of beauty. People may go to an art museum for a pleasant afternoon. Nobody comes to the courthouse for a pleasant afternoon. So this was a way to work with an established entity of professional people, which I don't claim to be, and Lisa Mansfield, who works closely with me, does not claim to be, and do something wonderful for the people in our courthouse.
One of the biggest things in my work right now is engagement. And I think it's really important for my work to be engaging with the audience past a visual level. I talked a lot about, in my artist statement, about the experience of a painting rather than just physically looking at something. It's what you feel and the perspective you kind of gauge from looking at a painting that's become really, really important to me, not only from my own experiences, going to school and walking through everyday life and kind of navigating the climate that we are in right now, but how the viewer engages with my art is very, very important. And so kind of that gaze, the gaze of the figure, kind of engaging with the viewer is very important because it kind of holds them accountable for viewing that work. It makes them question, their purpose for viewing it and why they're there. I recently got to do an awesome mural with Land Studio in Cleveland, and just being on site and seeing it up and actually getting to engage with people who are viewing the mural, or kind of hearing some of the feedback from people who have seen the mural and really felt connected to it has been really, really important. And I think it kind of affirms the idea that I'm trying to get at by having work that is not only to be looked at, but to be engaged with.
Cities in the Creative Class is a book that was written by an author based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Richard Florida is his name, and he has some indicators, methods of indicating how well a city is doing. And one of the economic indicators is the artist index, and having and supporting and encouraging a thriving art scene is so important to having a city that grows. Because these are the people that will be more tolerant than the next person. They're going to be more creative, utilizing resources, breaking boundaries, breaking rules sometimes, challenging the systems that have been there for a while that may need to change. And so I would look to artists as the indicators for how they want to move forward, because they have this opportunity. I don't want to say obligation. They have an opportunity to create new language, new culture, new anything. And so the opportunity is for the artists to just be themselves.
Every year there's a couple that start off, oh, I hate art, I hate your class, I don't want to do this. And you find the one thing that catches them. And all of a sudden they're intrigued. So you play off that. You research this, look at that. Oh, your picture looks like this painting. Then they're really caught. They really want to look these things up and try them. And it's when they go home and we've done something in class and they go home for the weekend and they come back and look what I made at home. Because I don't give homework, but they did it themselves. So that's pretty cool. In the district I work in, we do have a lot of students at risk. So I've taken a lot of courses on, the bullying and the social and emotional and dealing with grief and trauma, because that's what our kids deal with every single day. So you have to be able to approach them with empathy and caring. And the worst kids are the ones that come and hug me. And, they're people like, oh, really? Yeah. Somehow I caught them and I talked to them just like they're an adult. I don't judge them.
Well, the arts here in Akron are just amazing. They make life beautiful and sweet. You know what they say? The earth without art is eh. My husband and I were both born and raised in Akron. And as elementary school students, we got to attend Children's Concert Society concerts. They used to bring the Cleveland Orchestra in to the old Akron Armory, the same place where we saw the circus and where you could go see the fights. But it was a wonderful exposure to symphonic music. And we both also took painting and drawing lessons at the old Akron Art Institute before it became just a museum when the teaching part moved over to the University of Akron. But as kids, we went there on Saturday mornings. We weren't in the same classes. I don't think we knew each other then. But we both had that opportunity. And I having been a piano student, got to participate in Tuesday Musical, junior high and high school, Allegro Club and Brahms Club events. Then after my husband and I were married in 1961, we would attend the old Akron Symphony when it was primarily an amateur organization, and of course have enjoyed its newfound professional status and excellence. And I have attended museums and really just love participating in all the different things that Akron has offered.
Our priority with the arts is to have a healthy arts ecosystem. So there's a lot of different things that go into that. And one of the important elements of a healthy arts ecosystem is artists who are supported, who have resources that they need, who have educational opportunities, who have ways to connect with other artists. And we view Summit Artspace as sort of like the part of the ecosystem that is supporting those individual artists really well and is listening really well to what they need and is providing really the tools that will help them go to their next level of work. So that is why we value Summit Artspace. As a private foundation, we can't make direct grants to individual artists, but we can support an organization like Summit Artspace that will then do really important work to advance their craft and take care of them. So that's kind of the role that we see you all serving. And certainly the building itself has evolved a lot over time. I'm old enough to remember a time when that building was more vacant than not. And now it is bursting with activity and people and art and classes and, just really cool stuff for the community to take advantage of, which I think plays a great role of translating art to everyone. People in the community who want to learn something or want to see something different or buy a unique gift. You guys are there with lots of opportunities for that. So we hope and expect that will continue in the future. We also think that Summit Artspace is a great, as a supporter of individual artists, will be a really important player on the cultural plan. And will help bring all of the dreams of many people in Akron that are embodied in that plan to life through the work that happens in the next handful of years.
Thank you once again for joining us tonight. To learn more about every Arts Alive Award recipient, visit summitartspace.org to view their online profiles, access links to their websites and work, and to watch additional interview footage. And don't forget to hurry over to our virtual Arts Alive auction before midnight tonight to bid on the wonderful artwork available. That address again is biddingforgood.com/Summit Artspace. We're grateful to all of the artists who donated their time and their work to make the auction a success and to provide valuable financial support to artists at this unprecedented time of need. Henri Matisse once wrote that creativity takes courage. The artists honored tonight, in fact, all of this year's nominees and the many artists working and creating in our community have demonstrated that since last March. Thank you for being part of celebrating and supporting that courage and their gifts.